Hello, today we're going to talk about office and image. If you're a new agent, let's go through and show you how to set up your office. When I owned a real estate company years ago, I spent all this money on my office, on the furniture, on everything, yet nobody ever came to it because I was out in the field all the time. I find that a lot as a Medicare agent as well. So what I've done this time, when I moved here, I sold everything. So I got a 6-foot table from Costco, and I love it because I can spread everything out on the table. I ordered a nice comfortable chair. I have a window in my office, and I love being in here. So you want to set up your office to be a space because you're going to be in there a lot doing Zoom and also all your paperwork. I never really have anybody come to my office, yet when I go into the office, I like going in there. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to set up the office. So I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you something that I learned years ago. And this is called the Bagua. I was a professional feng shui person at one point in my life, and I helped people with their homes. And this is what they taught me in this particular sect of feng shui is how to set up your office and your home. So you want your doorway that you go into your office, it's yourself and your career. So in your home, you can put a black or dark blue mat at the beginning of your home because that's how all the energy flows into your home and in your office. When I go into my office, this back left corner is about empowering myself and my money. What I do in that corner is I put plants there so they grow up. I also hide a little money underneath the plant, just subliminally. It's just telling the energy that we want money coming in. You don't want a plant that's going to go downward, right? You want it to go upward. Electronics are also really good for that corner. When you go into the office, to the right is your relationships. So in my corner, I have another plant because I like relationships with things that are living. I have pictures of people. I have hats, things that I give away. I put twos of things because those are the relationship. My table that I work on is right in the middle, which is my health area. You can always put fruit and plants and bananas and things that are alive in the health. You never want to, if your kitchen is in the middle of your house, that's really good. You really don't want to put a fireplace there because it's kind of burning things up. But you can use this map. I would take a picture with your cell phone, or you can always go back to this video and use the Bagua map. Just kind of lay it over your home or lay it over your office. And you can use the color coordination for your office as well. The other thing that I have in my office is an office board. And forgive me, it's a little bit messy, but what I do is in my left-hand corner, again, that's my wealth area, is I take a running total throughout the year of the months of the year, how many Medicare Advantage plans, supplement, PDP drug plans, and what my total is. I count supplement and PDP because I feel like I'm sitting there writing them. Why should I not count them? And you can see through the year, I've done pretty well this year. I'd like to get those numbers up to over 50 next year. That is one of my goals for next year. But this year, towards the middle of the year, it starts to slow down. And again, you want to focus on your low-income subsidy clients and your clients turning 65. There's another video on the Lisa Maas Medicare channel that you can look at on how to access those systems on ssa.gov. I also put my goals, and they are personal and business goals. So by 2028, I'd really like to have 1,600 policies. This year, I'm pushing 400 and 30 high producing agents. Right now, I have 4 and looking forward to teaching those new agents how to do this. And this video is one of those ways. I also have quotes, and I love this one, is your standard congruent with your vision. We have to have a goal. We have to have a vision. We have to know where we're going. And for me, is my standard what I'm doing during the day congruent with where I want to go? Also, you are in the correct space, 11,200 200 people a day are aging into Medicare and turning 65 over the next 3 years. This is the gravy train. So you're in the right place at the right time. And I just put this on there to remind myself that. And also to get to some of my goals. And you can see I have a vision board to the right. 10 million is one of my goals by 2030. If I do $100 with 10,000 people, that's $1 million. But you can flip it around too. $10,000 with 100 people is $1 million. So I just play with these things. This is what I look at in my office every day. You definitely want to put together a vision board because, again, the way our Servio mechanism works within ourselves is we have to have a goal to go towards. And I did my vision boards the same as the Bagua. I put my money in the left-hand side. I put over here, you can not see it very well. Let's see if I can zoom in here, of people and eating and my partner and myself, playing golf, have some good food, doing some travel. You can see down below is a plane that we have on order, actually, which is quite exciting. That'll be here in about a year. It runs on electricity, and it's similar to like a drone that you fly. You just push a button and it will take you there. So it has 4 little propellers in it. It's quite fun, and it's something to look forward to. And that's what I look at on my board. I also, hanging on the wall, I have my map of my main state that I work in, which is Idaho, and I have all the counties because in Medicare, all our policies are done by counties. And so I don't really know sometimes where Butte County or Custer County or Clearwater County. So if I get somebody on the line and I know they're in Kootenai County, I can look up their policies right away for those. So I have one for Idaho, I have one for Montana, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, and Hawaii and California. Those are the areas that I tend to work in the most. And my agents also work in there as well. Some of the other things I have in my office that really help is I have all of the trophies that I've won over the last 2 years. And I look at those, and I also have a big poster in my window that says, "Do you require Medicare help?" Because people walk by in the street and they see that poster. And I've gotten a couple of clients from my neighborhood that know that I'm a Medicare agent, and they come and ask questions. So that's always helpful. Another thing is I have 2 screens. I have my laptop computer with one screen, and then I have a big, I would say it's probably 15 by 25 or so, I'm just guessing, but it's a bigger screen, and I hook my computer into that screen. So that's what I'm looking at today, looking at you, is a bigger screen. The reason I have 2 screens is because if I'm looking at Spark and talking to a client, I can pull that Spark over onto my laptop and have 2 screens going at the same time. So I can be looking up their drugs on one screen, maybe have a policy on the other screen. So it works out really, really well. They aren't very expensive. I got mine at Office Depot. I get a lot of my supplies at Office Depot, and I do all my printing on Office Depot, and any big cork boards or flyers that I make, I do them on Office Depot as well. And it's saved me a heap of money. The other thing I have is a little logistic camera. So instead of using the camera on my computer, I use a plug-in camera. And also I plug in, I don't know if you can see this microphone. That makes you sound a little better, makes you look a little better. So I like having both of those as tools in my office. I also have a little light. It looks like this. It's a little ring light, and I made it and I gave it out to all the older people, and they don't really like it. So I've kept them a lot for myself, but you can just turn them on, and they have different settings to them, and put them on the back of your computer. So you're lit up and it makes you look so much brighter. As you can tell, I have a light on me right now, and it just makes you look a little better when you're doing all your Zoom videos. Behind me in my office are my brochures. I have a brochure for every policy I write. And as a new agent, we'll have a whole separate video on how to write a policy. And when I get done writing the policy, if I'm doing it on Zoom or on the phone, I send it to them and I staple my card on it. If I'm doing it in person, I give them the paper policy. People tend to like paper versus email. Some people like email better. I do email them the policy if they want it, but I like to give them the paper copy because then they can always go throughout the year and say, hey, I need to go get my teeth cleaned. Where's the VSN? So they go to vsn.com. They can look it up in their booklet. So all the companies give those to you. I usually around August, September, we order them online. So that's something that I have behind me in the office. On my desk, I have clipboards. I love, love, love clipboards. And on one clipboard, I have all the places I have my flyers in town, and I tend to bring that with me, and I'll go and check them off and check off my flyers, make sure they're still up. Another clipboard, I rewrite it generally every day, sometimes every 2 or 3 days, of what to do in my office. On the left-hand side, I categorize top being what really has to be done, top priority, and then I lower down, I write down things that are on my agenda, maybe that I have to remember. On the bottom, I write my calls. On the top right of what I have to do in town or things I have to pick up. And then on the bottom right, I put in any follow-up clients. Like I have 5 right now that I've written that I've got to call the company and get their ID number. And then I call them back and say, hey, your application's been approved. Here's your ID number. So I can check those off and remind myself of what I'm doing. So by rewriting that every day, I know what's a top priority, so I can reevaluate my priorities as I write it out. Um, that's pretty much what I have in my office. You want to make your office where you like going in it every day because you spend a lot of time writing policies, maybe grabbing brochures. You want it to look good. You know, I have plants. I like plants. They come alive. I keep my desk fairly clean so I know, where everything is. So that's what I've done for my office. I've kept it very inexpensive and kept it fairly simple. So I feel good about coming into it every day. That's what I have for you today. Enjoy setting up your new Medicare office. Bye for now.